Hi, thanks for listening to our brief YouTube video on commas. If you'd like to receive a copy of the slides used in this video, please email me, Anna Scanlon, at scanlon1@kenyon.edu. There are 4 times it's key to use commas. However, I should note these aren't the only times one will use commas. These are just the most common. The first is when you're writing a list with a conjunction. In this case, the conjunctions are and, but, or. When you're crafting an introductory phrase, usually with a preposition, so often called a prepositional phrase. When you're writing a parenthetical, and when you're not ending a sentence, but you've quoted something. Let's break them down a little bit here. The first time when you're writing a list with a conjunction like and, but, or is used, is often referred to as the Oxford comma and is used before the conjunction. For example, I would like to go to a bar, comma, a movie, comma, or a concert. Or is the conjunction here, and the comma after movie goes before it. Before COVID, comma, I would go traveling, comma, out for coffee, comma, and to see friends. And is the conjunction here, so the comma after coffee goes before it. We'll also talk about what the phrase before COVID with the comma after it is in a few steps. And then lastly, I like cheese and broccoli, comma, but the conjunction, not broccoli cheese soup. The second one is when you're crafting an introductory phrase, usually involving a preposition. That is the one that we saw on that last slide. These are phrases that usually begin with a location word or a preposition. During the War of 1812, comma, Commodore Perry saved the day. In my literature class, comma, we read novels, comma, short stories, comma, and nonfiction. A good pro tip for determining whether or not you need a comma with an introductory phrase is to move the phrase to the end of the sentence and see if it still makes sense. If it does, you need a comma or you need to leave the phrase at the end of the sentence. So, for example, Commodore Perry saved the day during the War of 1812. Now, you no longer need a comma because the introductory phrase or prepositional phrase is at the end of the sentence. The third time is when you're writing what we call a parenthetical. A parenthetical is an idea that's not necessary to the sentence grammatically, but that still provides useful context. So, for example, Alice Childress, comma, an author and playwright, comma, wrote like one of the family. If you remove the parenthetical, the sentence will still work. That's how you know it's a parenthetical. Alice Childress wrote like one of the family. The fourth time is when you're not ending a sentence, but you've quoted something. There's a little bit of debate about where the comma should go in this case, but general rule of thumb by most editors is that the comma should go inside the quotation marks. So sometimes we quote part of an idea or a sentence or write a title of a short story, but we haven't ended the sentence there. When this move happens, we need to make sure to put the comma inside the quotation marks, not outside, like the following. In reading The Yellow Wallpaper, comma, we can learn a lot about mental health treatments in the 1890s. Or The Youngest Owl shows us a lot about dismissive practitioners, period. Ferrari writes, comma, the doctor who examined her assured her it was nothing, comma, downplaying the aunt's symptoms. In both cases, you'll note again that the comma goes inside the quotation marks at the end of the quotation marks. So I challenge you to think about the following 4 rules about the Oxford comma, the introductory comma, the parenthetical comma, and commas and quotation marks, and write 4 sentences to try and use all 4 styles of comma in your next paper or assignment. If you have questions on commas, you should come to Chalmers Library, floor 2, to chat with the Writing Center consultant today. We also have a comma handout on our website. Thanks for listening.